Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Louise.
Here we
Here we
are.
are.
The girls who went
Jinx.
away.
Girls Who Went Away and Fessler. At first, when I saw Margaret's name, of course, I knew it wasn't Margaret, but I couldn't
Right.
help but think of
Me
Margaret
too.
from American Baby, Margaret Katz.
Oh, Margaret.
I know. Oh,
This is this
and they're
my
no less painful, these stories.
no, gosh. It this one hit me, both of them hit me. This one really hard. She just starts out, good Catholic girl, sex with her boyfriend, in love with her boyfriend, all these things, but I'm skipping ahead a little because a lot of them have the same story.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but this part when she had to write down, go to the home, the St. Anne's home, which was quite kind to her actually. They were it was a nicer place. She got to go out. The girls were lovely. Some of the nuns were quite nice comparatively to what we've read.
right.
Just this part, and she said, they made me make a list of what the parents would have and what I wouldn't have. Just picture what it's going to be like. He'll not have the
Uh,
nice clothes that the other children are going to
that
have on
got
the
me too.
playground. They'll call him a bastard. And I believe that. I remember writing down they had money, they had a father, they had a house, they had clothes and food. And on my side, I could put down only love. That's all I had. There's not,
I
I
know.
just was like, okay, here we go. The waterworks starting. Page two.
Oh, and then
Mm,
years later, she finally asks, she went to Cub and
mm,
had never been around any of that and was just
yeah,
she'd been depressed, had ate, this
yeah,
is common
yeah.
thing with both of these two
Shutting
chapters that
down.
we read,
Yeah.
both of them just, you know, the shame and the keep men away and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And she thought of him every day, her son.
Every day.
And then she went to Catholic Charities and they sent her to their lawyer who's like, "You're the first person that ever has done this. I don't understand what you want." It's like, "I want to have contact with my son." He's like, "Well, we have to protect the baby." She's like, "He's not a baby, he's 25."
On and on about the
It
baby.
also just highlighted what we talk about often with each other
Mhm.
is how we are so infantilized as adult
Mhm.
adoptees. We're still thought of as the baby.
Yeah.
We're forever stuck like a
In
fossil
this
in
role.
time as an infant. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and no one told her she did have 30 days to change her mind, by the way, back then too. This is
Right.
not, I mean, all the legal, it's almost like they're treated as babies too. Everybody's just
Hmm.
looked at as
It's frozen in time.
frozen in time and no legal rights. She said something when she was giving up the baby that was like textbook. There must be a textbook on how they talk to these mothers because it
Yeah.
was done so well. And so I do think maybe that lawyer never had a mother come because they're all horrified and shamed for so long. And who are
Uh,
they protecting? That's what she was saying. Who are they really protecting here? Because the adoptees now we know that's not who you're protecting either. We know who.
yeah, we know who.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Yeah, that's
what she
self-esteem
said,
stuff. Mm.
at the very end, she says, "I
Mhm.
loved him and I would have sacrificed some of the things that I wanted in order to be his mother. They had no right to make that decision for me and for him. They robbed us of 25 years together."
Yeah. One thing really quick about Margaret. She couldn't this reminded me of adoptees too. She couldn't let anybody go in her family.
Right. I
Like
know.
she lived on the block with her mother who ended up having
Mm-hmm.
a little regret about giving up the baby too.
Mm-hmm.
She lived her son was nearby. She couldn't let people go. She collected people. She was hurt if they and I thought, aren't we so similar?
Such a similar wound. Well,
Oh
it's
my
the,
goodness.
you know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
separation, that primal wound
Yeah.
exists for both mothers and baby.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Leslie. Yeah. Leslie, that was a hard one.
That was also hard because, I mean, very
Yeah.
similar, goes off to the maternity home. She spent time with her child,
Yeah.
and then
A lot of
gets,
time with her child, actually.
then
Yeah.
she was in the hallway, in labor alone. That's the other thing that blows my mind is that these maternity homes would drop
Yeah.
these women off at the hospital, walk on in, have your
Yes.
baby, nobody there. They, of course, didn't know anything, the
Yeah.
shaving and the enema and all this crazy stuff that they
It's like a
haven't been
factory.
pre-warned about. Yeah, factory, a baby factory.
Yeah. They was Leslie the one that also her father had said you can't see that baby and there was a nice nurse that she held on
Yeah.
to, who said, "You, she can see the baby. That's her baby." Those words, r- she held on to those for years, like a nurse
Hmm.
saying, "Your baby," identifying, because no, everyone treated her like she didn't exist. So those words were very important.
That might have been Margaret.
It might have been
Um,
Margaret. Sorry, everybody. That could have been Margaret. Just,
well,
oh,
and then the
yeah.
tragedy of
Yes.
her is that she ended up getting pregnant right away,
Yeah.
with somebody, like an old boyfriend came to town. They all, went out to they
Middle
went
school, they went to a
somewhere.
concert or something. And the
Middle It was
thing,
a middle school boyfriend. He came to town. She and her friend went out with him and his friend. They all got
super drunk.
super drunk.
Another reason she got super drunk was to mask how she was
Yeah.
feeling because everything
To
was fake. And she found out during that he thought she was loose. That's why he called her up.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
read that
like,
part.
yeah,
I
there was
didn't
something where
realize he
he
thought
had,
I thought she thought he thought that,
oh,
but he
maybe
didn't.
she thought he
No, I don't
thought
think
that.
he knew. Nobody knew.
Oh, okay.
So no, he was just an old friend,
Yeah.
and they got drunk and had sex. And then lo and behold, she's pregnant,
Oh my God.
6 weeks or however much longer after she gave
And she's in
birth.
college at this point, so another school to hide from. Like,
And she just went, I mean, she just had so much shame,
oh my
and
God.
then, she, of course, she also did gaining weight, and
Hmm. There's something
yeah.
in here where she said, we've talked about this recently. It was just I pulled out this. That we were a social experiment. The
Hmm.
adoptees and the birth mothers were a social
A
experiment, which,
failed, I think she even said a
yes.
failed social experiment.
Yeah, I pulled out those words because I'm thinking we really, that's the point. And she went on to have more children
Hmm.
and never didn't want her baby again. Like both, well, she mourned it always. And
Hmm.
her husband would like know that there were certain dates and be loving and it,
And then
it
she too went to her first cub
yep.
meeting, and then, talks just she said there are repercussions for this little societal experiment. You said for all of
Yeah.
us, you don't just pick a baby from one place and graft him onto another. It doesn't work that
Yeah.
way. This false view that society has of adoption is
Yeah.
still costing an awful lot of people a lifetime of pain and regret.
Still is. One
Whew.
thing in Margaret, Sarah, that we didn't bring up that I actually didn't know was that at the St. Anne's home, people would go by the windows and look at the babies who
Right.
they might adopt,
Yeah, it was like
like puppies.
like when they used to have pet stores, and you'd
I've
go
never
pick
heard
out,
that.
do I want the beagle or do I want the cocker spaniel,
Yeah.
maybe a
Like
Great
her baby
Dane,
would
like,
go in the window a certain amount of time each day for
yeah,
people, what
but
passerbys.
how much is that child in the window,
Freaks me
how
out.
much?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, next week
Mm.
we are on to the aftermath, and this is a very long, painful book, I have to say.
We're excited to meet you, Anne, because we have so much
Very,
to talk about.
so much to talk about with you.
You've done
I
a
love,
gift for the world,
yeah,
though.
really a gift, really, truly a gift.
So,
Okay, well, we will see you in a minute with talk to Liz.
oh, Dr. Liz. Okay.
Yeah,
See you soon.
see you soon.